Man, what can I tell you? I have lived both in my life. I have lived an integrous life in my life. Like for example, right now in my life, I am living in a very integrous way, and I think that my results are speaking by itself or by themselves because of my integrity, and that I am showing that in my art, and you can feel it in my vibe. But also in other times of my life, not so fun, I guess, I have lived a not very or not quite an integrous life. I have also lived, folks, a split life or a divided existence. In some areas, and every time that I do that, every time that I divide, it tends to be or end up being the worst idea like ever. The worst mistakes that I have done in my life always comes by following something that is not myself, or by following something that is against my values, or by splitting maybe my body of my mind, or maybe my mind of my action, or splitting my actions from my spirituality, or something is divided in an area of my life. And every time that I do that, every time that I let the ego divide, every time that I let the ego win this war of integrity, I pay for it, man. And I have suffered so much due to that in some periods of my time. And I'm pretty sure that you too. I'm pretty sure that you too. I'm pretty sure that you have been so happy when you are integrous in your life, when you are whole, when you are vertical. And I'm pretty sure that you have in your life some moments, you have lived some moments in which you was not that integrous, and you betray yourself, or maybe you self-sabotage, or you did something that your life was not aligned perfectly, in perfect harmony, in perfect authenticity. And I'm pretty sure that you suffer the consequences as well. Just bring to your mind a moment in which you didn't follow the integrous way. You didn't follow the way of your heart. You didn't align every force of your being in a good balance, or in a good harmony. Just think about it, and think about how you felt then. Think about the results that you manifested or that you created then. How was those results? Maybe it was in a relationship. Think about your ex. If it is an ex, it means that something went wrong, right? That's why you are ex. Something happened there. And notice, probably was something out of integrity, because if you had perfect integrity in that relationship, it will not be an ex, it will be your current husband or wife. But maybe you was not integrous with your fidelity, and that was it. Or maybe you was not integrous with your words, and that was it. Or maybe you was not integrous with respect, or being humble, or being a man or woman of your word, and keeping your promise. You did something that was not aligned, and now you you have an ex. But just think about it. Every time that you ask fired from a job, every time that you fail a goal, maybe an exam, or maybe you failed a business, something was out of line. What was that? Hey, not judging. The ego primary purpose is to bring you out of line. The ego, by definition, folks, is division. It must be divided from everything else in order to exist. Because if the ego is not divided or disintegrous, notice, split from everything else, then you don't exist. You are everything. But you need to be something, right? You need to be individual. So your ego primary purpose is to divide. So division is like the modus operandi of your existence. Nevertheless, integrity is the modus operandi of ultimate existence or God or the transcendental. So in this fight, everything is happening in this combat of integrity versus division. Like everything is dividing, and at the same time, everything is uniting at the same time. It's like a divine paradox. And this podcast of today, this episode that you're about to watch, is how we can go from division to integrity with more consciousness and with a smoother process. Because, hey, this is the way of personal development. Integrity is personal development. What is the final goal, you may ask? Derek, of personal development? Well, one of the possible answers, yeah, it can be love, yeah, it can be consciousness, yeah, it can be enlightenment, yeah, it can be blah, 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 blah. But one of those can be also integrity, absolute or ultimate integrity. This is the final goal of your personal work, of your self sophistication. And you may say, oh, but I thought it was absolute authenticity. Yeah, you're right. But what the hell is authenticity if it is not integrity? How you can be authentic if you are not integrous with yourself? How you can love if you are not integrous with yourself? How you can be conscious of everything, like you became light. Light is consciousness. How you can be conscious of everything if you are still split? So consciousness is integrity. Consciousness in a more spiritual definition. So yeah, folks, this is going to be one of those episodes that will break your soul and build it again more stronger than ever. This is going to be transformative. Welcome to your way back home, to your way back to your ultimate integrity. Welcome, my friend, to the most transformational podcast in the world. And if you don't believe that this is the most transformational podcast, just stay in this episode. Just give me 1 hour, man. 1 hour. 1 hour. Give me 1 hour and you will say, oh my gotchi. That is the most transformational podcast in the world. He's right. Just give me 1 hour. This is the episode 534 of the Mastermind Podcast Challenge, Season 2. One episode every Monday through Friday, all right? Approximately 4 a.m., between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. MST. I am kind of sometimes I come at 5:30 live. Sometimes I come, 5:30, no, 4:30, 4:45, 4:20. So it's kind of variable in that sense. My name is Dr. Derek Israel. I'm a clinical psychologist, entrepreneur, and a podcaster. And and this is gonna be one of those episodes that will change your life if you open your heart, open your mind, and open your soul, and open your notebook, because you will learn a lot here. Before we go right into all the details about how to achieve the ultimate integrity, let me tell you that I have an exclusive group that is on Telegram. And this group is about this podcast and how we can improve our podcast and how we can continue growing together for free. So I don't charge any fee for this group. And also, one of the things that I have been asking the members of the group yesterday is like for subjects to this podcast. And yesterday I received some feedback about it, and I love the subjects. They recommend me about the ego and stuff like that. So if you want to be able to participate more in this construction that we are doing with this mastermind podcast, and you want to get feedback, receive feedback, and join others people that actually are growing like you, hey, join our Telegram group. The link is in the description below. All right, so let's go right with the subject. What is ultimate integrity? Before we go, let me tell you that this is my second try. This is not my first try talking about integrity. In the Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 1, I did one episode for 1 year without missing a day, all in Spanish, by the way. So if you're a Spanish speaker, you can look for that in the description below. And I did an episode on integrity, but here's the thing. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about back then. Well, let me rephrase. I kind of knew, but I didn't have the profundity and the deepness that I have today. 3 years is a lot. Specifically, 3 psychological and spiritual years can be a lot if you put a lot of work, if you do a lot of meditation, if you do a lot of spiritual retreats, if you do a lot of yoga, a lot of reading, a lot of growing, business and entrepreneurship and uh, how do you say that? Reinventing yourself. So if you are like very consistent in your personal development, you will look back 3 years from now, you will say, oh my gotchi, who the hell is that? Right? Because you change so quick. That is what it's all about. So back then, I have an impression on integrity, and I was kind of trying to understand what was integrity. And the episode is called Integrity in Spanish, Integridad. So it's only in Spanish. So if you know Spanish, maybe you can search Mastermind Podcast Integridad and you can see, what was my first thoughts about it and now the evolution of it. But I am really proud that I am kind of understanding that in life, every complex subject is never an end and it's always a process. And I am very proud that I can accept that now I have a better understanding on integrity. So let's go to try two. Let's go to round two. Maybe in 3 or 5 years, I will come with another one, with another iteration of integrity, because this is a very profound, quasi God-like, pseudo-like God subject. All right. Integrity is God. So let's go to round two. So, what is ultimate integrity? All right. So, I will keep it simple. Ultimate or absolute integrity is the same. I can vary the word that I will use, but ultimate or absolute integrity is a return or a comeback to your absolute wholeness. And this is the key word here, to your absolute wholeness. So when you are integrous, finally, you are whole again. So when we are talking about spirituality, we are always talking about, hey, you are one. You're one with life, right? You're one with God. We are always talking about here in this work, hey, your mind and your body are one. Your career and your values are one. Your art and your essence and your identity are one. And you like that idea. You love that idea. But maybe you never thought about that oneness or that wholeness, because if you are one, that means that you are whole. That means that everything that is in one thing. And that thing is complete, is total. So there is nothing outside that thing. And if there's something outside that thing includes that thing also. So there is nothing outside. So you can imagine like an infinite kind of substance that never ends and is everything. And there is nothing serving as a ground for that substance. Because if something is serving as a ground, well, that means that you have a ground and the substance. And integrity says, no, 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 no. I am also the ground. And I am also the substance. I am the process and I'm also the result. I am spirit, but I'm also matter. So when you come back to your integrity, you come back to your whole again. And you don't know, but you are so divided right now. Every problem that you have, including sickness or disease, is a form of lack of integrity. Something is out of line. Something is not aligned. A sickness, a disease, lack of alignment. There's something there that is not vibrating well. There is something there that is not functioning chemically or biologically well. If you have a mental health problem as well, there is something that is split from your psyche. Maybe you have an emotional division and you feel depressed, or maybe you have more like a identity division and you have a personality disorder or a multiple personality, or maybe you have like a reality division and you have schizophrenia. So everything is a division out of wholeness. If you have economic problems, you are out of wholeness, because without money you cannot be whole. You need to at least have a little bit amount of money to eat, right? To have fun, to transport, to exist in this society. So when you are integrous, you are finally whole again. And when you are perfectly whole, you are perfectly happy. You are perfectly in peace. You are perfectly you. You are authentic, completely authentic. Notice how every sign of hypocrisy or every sign of fakeness that you may do, because maybe you are trying to manipulate a certain situation, maybe you are trying to gain something and you are trying to fake maybe a smile. Oh yeah. Oh, when people do that socially, it's a kind of expected to fake. Well, that is not wholeness. That is why people that fakes a lot, they live a miserable life. Just look the celebrities, man. They fake that glamorous life. They fake happiness with money, with cars, and then you see the interviews and they say, "Oh man, I'm so depressed. I'm so suicidal, man." Why is that, dude? You have so much money, right? You have so much fame. You have all the houses, all the booties, all the GT, GT, GT. What is GT? I don't know. I'm just, trying to find my voice in English. It's kind of a weird voice, huh? It's weirder. I don't know. Maybe Spanish is weirder. I don't know. Maybe you can understand both language. You can say which part of me is weirder, the English or the Spanish. And why I say part of me, because they are not integrated yet. Just notice. I am still thinking on Spanish versus English when it's only one thing. But just notice how I have still some stuff in my psyche that I'm integrating. This is a work in progress every time. Ultimate integrity is a utopia. Ultimate integrity is a goal. All right. But we are always going towards that, right? We are always integrating. So yeah, celebrities, man, they have a lot and they have nothing. Why is that? Because they are faking their happiness, and when the light is out in the room, they hear their voices, man. They hear their voices that says, man, you are a hypocrite, man, you are fake. Man, you are living out of your values. You are betraying your mother. You are betraying your son. You are not spending time with your son. And you're spending time with these, rappers that they only want your money. And they are like, oh, man. And the next day they woke up and they looked the Bugatti outside of their window and they say, oh, or forget about our last night conversation. I have a Bugatti. Let me go to the Bugatti. Let me go to the Instagram stories. Let me say, hey, folks, I am the bigger alpha male of the town. Look, this car. Oh, yeah. Look, this money. And then they publish the story and they are like feeling down again. It's like they do everything in front of the camera. They do everything that they can to be happy in front of the camera, and outside in their life, they are miserable. That is very common with celebrities and with actors, with Hollywood. Robin Williams is a good example, sadly. But that is living a life of lack of integrity. And the whole purpose of this podcast of today, this episode of today, is that hey, you may be living like that. You may be living in some degree like that in certain area of your life. Remember, we are a legion. That means that we are a multitude. We have different areas. We are a multiplicity, right? So maybe in one area you are living like that and others don't or do not. But hey, the whole objective of this episode is to align everything, that you come back to wholeness, you come back to you, to your authenticity, and to your ultimate happiness. That is our goal here. So in most of my podcasts, I always go and say, all right, so what are the benefits of integrity, or what is the pros and cons of this, and blah, blah, blah. So no, today I will not do that. Today I will go directly to different dimensions of integrity and how to align them. So let's go right to the meat today. So imagine that these dimensions, they are not in any particular order, but what I try to do is to put the first that I thought it is like the most basic, like the first one, the first few that I will mentioning is like, I think, most basic ones. They're more easier, maybe. Nothing is easy, but they are kind of more simple. And the final ones, they are more complicated. They demand a more sophisticated consciousness, like, for example, a political consciousness or a universal spiritual consciousness. So I try to make it from easy to hard, but there's nothing easy in integrity. There's nothing easy. All right. So imagine that these are like different pieces of a cake. The whole cake as a whole is the final integrity. But right now you have different pieces and we are trying to stick them in a perfect whole again. So I just want to dissect different dimensions for your life. Then you can assess that specific area and you can say, maybe here I'm lacking a little bit of integrity. Or maybe here I'm pretty good. Yeah, I need to keep it up. So I want you to be assessing. Each one of you guys is gonna be different. This is your own insight, and also will be your own work. Like what do you do afterwards is gonna be on you, but you will be going to your way of absolute integrity if you follow what I'm teaching you here. And obviously, what you find for yourself is more important. It's more integrous with yourself, right? So let's go. So the first dimension is the integrity between your thoughts and your actions. Hey, quite of normal, quite of expected, right? Like, yeah, it's the integrity or the alignment between what I think and how I act. But how aligned are you with it? And you may say, oh, Derek, oh man, you didn't catch me this time, Derek. Yeah, I'm very aligned in this area, as you said, as this dimension, as you said there, because, hey, everything that I think I do, man, I am a thinker and I'm a doer. I don't wait. I have an idea. I go back into it. Whatever my mind says to me, I do it. So I am very integrous in this dimension. All right, maybe you are. But here's the catch. Here's the trick. When we are talking about integrity, we are not talking about following every thought that we have. We are talking about following the thoughts that we have that are according to our most inner authenticity and purity and essence. Because you know how many thoughts we have in our day? A lot. A lot. And you know how many of those thoughts come from your ego slash culture, socialization, social conditioning, expectations, your father, your mother, your partner, your son, your church, the priest, the media, the celebrities, the Instagram, the bullshit? Do you know how many of those are infected with capitalism or socialism or the right or the left in politics or blah 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 or this or that or atheism or theology or Christianism or Muslim or blah blah everything? You know how many influence do you have in your thoughts? How do you know that your thoughts are your thoughts? How do you know that your thoughts were not designed by institutions? Because they were, most of them, by your school. What is school? What is school, man? What is school? What is? It's a fabric. It's a fabric for socialization. It's an indoctrination system. Now, there's some things that are good in schools, and schools by themselves are not bad. We should be repairing schools. We should be designing a better education system. That is a good political, conscious political policy that we should be endorsing, right? Um, but for now, in 2022, schools is just a fabric of values, of Western values or Eastern values, depend in your culture. What do you think that China people teach their children? Do you think they teach them about the benefit of individualism, or do you think that they teach them the benefits of collectivism? Here in the United States, the same, right? You know, in schools, they are only talking about libertarianism and individualism and the values of the Western world, democracy, right? Right? Do you think that in North Korea they teach about the good things about democracy? No, because that is not their culture. So, yeah, a lot of your thoughts. Man, this mosquito, I need to become integrous with this mosquito. So, if you have watched my podcast, you know that every time that I see a mosquito in my studio, I get pissed. And now I'm getting a little bit pissed. But I was thinking, okay, Derek, we are talking about integrity today. So let's become integrous with the mosquito. Let it be, let it fly. But right now I'm getting a little bit divided. And now I'm getting in conflict with the mosquito. Anyways, so when we're talking about following your thoughts and aligning them, we're talking about following those inner thoughts that really are you, that really are from your essence, not from culture. And it's very difficult to understand which come from where. I have a good episode that is called in Spanish, Conoce a tu máximo competidor. In English will be like discover or get to know your maximum competitor. And in that episode, I strongly recommend that you search for it if you can understand Spanish. In that episode, I taught you that the voice of your ego is the loudest voice in your mind. Like it's the voice that is dominating mostly all of the thoughts. That is your ego, and your ego is composed mainly from socialization. All right, so it's kind of disintegrated in that sense. But sometimes you feel a little bit of a voice, some thoughts in your mind. Those are like whispers, like do this, or follow your passion, or do this art, or talk to that girl now. For example, if you are in a library and you see this girl that you really like, and you feel this little voice, it's almost kind of difficult to hear, that says in your mind, talk to that girl right now. And you're like, oh, I need to talk to her. And then your ego, with a very loud voice, says, no, 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 no. Hey, remember, you was rejected the last time, man. Oh, remember, you need to study right now. Forget about girls, man. Or hey, no, no, no. Maybe she have a boyfriend. Maybe she will slap you in the face. And those are the ego's doubts, right? And then you are like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then you follow only the voice of your ego because it's louder. You are not hearing the whisper anymore, and then you say, you know what, I will not do it, and you stay in your place. Well, you didn't integrate your actions with your voice or with your innermost thought. Your innermost thought, your essence in that moment said, talk to that girl, and you didn't do it. That is a small example of what you do when you don't follow your voice, your inner voice. You follow instead your fears, your ego, your doubts, your pride, and you didn't follow your essence. And then what do you think happened? You feel horrible. Why? Because you are thinking something and you are acting in a different way. So you have different vibrations in your body. You have different vibrations in your existence, and you are lacking harmony. You are lacking what in neurosciences it is called coherence. And I will be talking about brain coherence in the future in this podcast because it's very important. But just study for yourself what is brain coherence. It's when your brain is all aligned, your actions, your emotions, and your thoughts. So, hey, always follow your essence. The little voice, the whisper, create this business. I don't know how to create this business. Shut up, that voice, man. That is your ego. Create the business. Find out, work, learn, evolve, create the fucking business. That is your integrity. You will live without integrity, man, if you don't create that business. Very profound. Very profound. The next dimension of integrity is the integrity between your emotions and your actions. And this is very similar to thoughts, but emotions is kind of a different thing, and we conceptualize differently emotions and actions. Although, for example, in Buddhism, in specifically also in psychology of Buddhism, they perceive emotions and emotions and thoughts as one of the same, and they have a word for that. I forgot the word. Man, I forgot the word. I have the book there, but I will not look for it. But yeah, actions and emotions, they are the same thing, but we conceptualize differently just to work with them, right? Or to have more control over them. But sometimes you feel very happy towards an activity, and your ego is saying to you, hey, don't do other thing and do other thing, and you don't follow your happiness, and you feel very bad. Now, don't confuse happiness with pleasure, because, for example, if you all said, okay, I will do an abstinence from sex for 3 months because I am in a spiritual pursuit. I am reaching my sexual mastery, as I teach you in my course that is called Sexual Mastery. You can find it in my website, derekisrael.com. So I am going to do 3 months of abstinence. So maybe your wife or your husband wants sex at the next week. And you are like, yeah, having sex right now will give me a lot of pleasure. And I will love that. But pleasure is not happiness. How I will feel if I break my vow of abstinence for 3 months of sex, I have sex, I have an orgasm, how will I will feel then? I will feel horrible. Why? Because you are lack of integrity. You are lacking integrity. You are lack of alignment. You are lack of truth. And that is a term that I will be discussing also in the future. What is truth? You are missing truth in your life. You are missing love. You are missing integrity. So notice how pleasure, it is not happiness. But every sign of negative emotion that you have in your experience, that is a sign of lack of integrity. Maybe you are feeling depressed, maybe you're feeling extra fearful in some areas of your life. Notice those, because that is lack of integrity. There is something there that you haven't worked. There's something there that you haven't integrated. And with meditation, with yoga, specifically yoga, man, yoga is so amazing. I have an episode that is in Spanish called Cómo usar yoga para transformar tu vida, por si quieres más información sobre yoga. But, Hatha yoga, Kundalini yoga, or just pranayama yogas, um, are so perfect. That is the perfect word, perfect, to integrate emotions and body, that I strongly recommend that you start a practice of yoga. If you want to align better your emotions, how do you feel, with how you behave. That is a second dimension of integrity. Another dimension is, and I want you to know, remember, when we are talking about ultimate integrity, you need to put all of the dimensions that I am telling you align with the others. So right now we have like a line that is about thoughts, emotions, and actions. So now we are adding another dimension, but always all of these dimensions are interconnected. Don't forget. So the next dimension is integrity between your values and your constitutional values, and your divine constitutional values and your behavior. And you may say, what? Well, if you haven't heard the episode about values, or constitutional values, or divine constitutional values, you will not understand. But hey, values is what you value. I have an episode of each one of these. The values one, it is on Spanish. It is called Valores, Mastermind Podcast Valores. The constitutional values one is on English. It is called Constitutional Values. You can search it on my YouTube or in my Spotify station. And the Divine Constitutional Values one is also on English. You can search it as Divine Constitutional Values in Mastermind Podcast. But as an overview, real quick, real brief, your values is what you value in life. So your values must be aligned with behavior in how you conduct yourself every day. Your constitutional values are more deep. You know, those are the values that build your spirit and your essence. So those are more difficult to get to know, but once you understand that, you kind of discover a part of yourself that is very, 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 very near to your essence, and you can then proceed with a more authentic and integrous life. And what I say about divine constitutional values, those are transcendental values. Sometimes you can engineer them, and they are divine because they make you more conscious or more integrous by themselves. Like, for example, the value of compassion. Do you think that being more compassionate can make you more integrous? Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Values like infinite love, infinite acceptance, infinite kindness, infinite intelligence, art, or an artistic life. Do you think that art can make you more integrous? Yeah, that is the whole point of art therapy, man. The whole point of art therapy is to join together different parts that are divided in the psyche through the art medium. All right. So yeah, that is divine constitutional values. So all of your values, all of your values architecture needs to be aligned with your behavior, with your calendar, with your agenda every day. Every time that you don't follow your values, how do you feel, man? If you value truth and you are lying, how do you feel? Man, you feel horrible. You are betraying yourself. You need to align, man, your life with your values. When you are living a life aligned with your values, you don't need anything else. You are by your own, you are your own universe, you are your own multiverse, and you are finally the perpetual motion machine. I have an episode on that, and tomorrow we are gonna talk about that again a little bit. Just search on my YouTube the perpetual motion machine. That is the energy that creates energy, and that is the formula on how you can move forever without getting drained and basically moving as constant as the universe. So it's a very philosophical and profound subject. Remember, it is called You Are the Motion, the Perpetual Motion Machine. Search it on my socials. The next dimension of integrity is your integrity between your relationships and your what I wrote here. Oh yeah, your integrity between your relationships and your goals. It's very important, because now we are finding a more kind of a social or external dimension of integrity. And notice, relationships, the people that surrounds you, colleagues, co-workers, your spouse, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your children, your mother, your family, your father, your friends, your clients, your relationships, those are part of integrity. They can be out of integrity. Notice, a toxic relationship, what is a relationship that lacks integrity? You know, when you have a toxic relationship, people cannot join, people cannot become aligned. That's why they become toxic, because one of them, or maybe both, sometimes they are both, they are kind of very egoic in that relationship, and they are only thinking about themselves. They are not sacrificing in their relationship, and relationship is all about sacrifice. We need to sacrifice in the relationship in order to sustain long-term relationships. So some participant in that relationship is not sacrificing enough, is very ego based and very manipulative, and that is creating lack of integrity in your life. So you may have integrity in your thoughts, in your emotions, and in your values, but if you are in a relationship that you hate and you're still in that relationship, you are lacking integrity, man. Something will feel off. For example, another example that this can happen. Maybe you are in the right work or in the right job. You love it. You love working in this restaurant, but you hate your boss, man. Your boss is a horrendous person. He humiliates you, he offends you, he mistreats you. You love the place. So you are integrous with your work. And this is another dimension. But you hate the guy, you hate your boss. So if you stay there just for the money or just for the fun of the work, of the job, you are lacking integrity, because you need to relate with that guy, man, and you don't align with him. Now, that doesn't mean that every time that you don't like someone, you need to get away from that in order to have integrity. No, but if that is a toxic relationship, if you're in a passive role and very toxic with your boss, that can happen. Well, dude, that is lack of integrity. But maybe let's say that you don't like the guy and you say, you know what? I don't like the guy, but he's staying in his line. I'm staying in my line. I am not crossing with him or her, and I'm sticking with my values, and I'm sticking with my life purpose, and that's it. Hey, then maybe you are not lacking integrity in that relationship because both are kind of separated. But if you are in a toxic, mutual, kind of horrendous and nasty relationship, notice you are lacking integrity. You can apply that with your spouse. Just assess your relationship with your husband, with your boyfriend, assess your relationship with your son, with your daughter. Very important to assess and evaluate your integrity in those. The next one is integrity in your sexual life with your non-sexual life. And hey, I don't believe there is a non-sexual life. I believe that everything is sexual because everything is a beginning. Everything have a life force. Everything have like a conception, an inception, right? And that is what is sexuality all about. As I explained to you in my course Sexual Mastery, that I strongly recommend you to participate if you want to master your sexual life. But yeah, let's say if you are living a life in which your sexuality is not integrated with your core, man, you will live a very disintegrous life. And this has been the story of people that have diverse sexuality, like people that is not binary, like people that wants homosexual relationships or bisexual or pansexual or transsexual. I don't know, there's so many things right now, right? And there's no many things, right? There's Okay, so right now, we don't have many things. We have many words to many things, but that many things, they used to exist forever. They have been existing. Homosexuality, you know, being queer, being bisexual, being transgender or whatever. Those things always exist, man. But now we are noticing, and now we are putting more words, and now we are creating movements to support that. But those things are not new. So, but that is the story for the homosexual people in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. They were homosexual, they were feeling that, but they didn't live that life. Like, or maybe they live it in the closet, they live it in the occult. Why? Because of the stigma, obviously, and the discrimination, the unfair, unjust discrimination of the societal values. But that creates lack of integrity, and that is the cause of a lot of psychological stuff and physiological stuff. Like, if you can align the person's sexuality, man, he's gonna heal a lot of his psychological issues. We do that every day with our patients in our clinics, psychologists and psychiatrists, and also Sigmund Freud. He was one of the first one to say, hey, if you align the sexual libido is like the sexual energy, sexual drive. If you align that with the personality and with the morality of the person, with what he called the super ego, the person will become more able to deal with life and with affect and to be happy, right? He says something like that. So that is the whole purpose of psychoanalytic literature, is basically to align your sexuality with your ego and with your morality, and everything in a perfect whole, or at least in a balanced whole, in a good dynamic. That is what is called psychodynamic, because um we are trying to upgrade the dynamic between all of those systems, including your sexual system, your sexuality. So, hey, how is your integrity in bed? Difficult question. Assess that question. Assess your sexual life and how integrous are you with it. If you feel that you are a little bit disintegrated here and there, maybe you are unsatisfied here and there, well, make some changes. Don't keep acting the same. Educate yourself. Pursue sexual mastery. Take my course or take another book. I don't know. I don't care, man. Follow your heart, but do something. Don't stay in the same place. Please don't stay in the same place. Another dimension is your integrity between your authenticity and your art. Oh, man, that is one that oh, man, that is one that I struggle a lot, because in my own journey, I'm a psychologist, and psychologists are so repressed, man. They lack like organizations that regulate psychologists. They lack sophistication in personality. They are very anal, very controlative. They like to control everything, and they like to limit our potential as artists and as creators, because we are psychologists and we are supposed to maintain a standard, and that is something that for me corrupts my art, and has been doing like that forever. Like when I was in the university in my doctoral program, I was almost kicked out because I started doing videos and podcast. When I started doing my art, I was almost kicked out from my profession, but I stay with my guns, and I said to them, I will stay with my guns, I will stay with my videos, and I will crush it. I will crush your institution also. I will crush every grade. I will crush every course. I will become a doctor. If you don't kick me out, I will become a doctor in your face while doing my art. And I did that. So thanks God, I was able to finish. But I was almost kicked out just by my art, because I try to do my art the nearest that I can of my authenticity. And when that is a thing, man, you will be controversial. You will be perceived as a threat, specifically for people that are disintegrous, that are a fake, that are like a persona, as Carl Jung, uh, referred to them. The persona is the mask, the disguise that you put every day to fake your social kind of character, your avatar. So it's difficult for avatars to sustain and to deal you know, with truth. And when you are trying to do art, you are trying to do that. You are trying to express your innermost truth. If you don't do it because you are fearful, for example, of the cancel culture, of you are fearful of an institution, you are fearful of your university, you are fearful of your work, of your boss. That happen a lot with people that work in tech companies. Like they are fearful to use other technologies sometimes if they are not the technology of their company. Like if you are fearful of what people may think, you will limit your art. Just think about a TikToker that, an employee of TikTok that he really wants to crush it on Reels on Instagram, but he's working on TikTok. So maybe he's kind of feel, I don't know if I can go to Reel and make my brand there, because my boss will find out and he will say, hey, so you are using the competence, huh? You're using the competition, right? So man, I don't know, but I really like Reels. I really like the colors of Reels. I don't like too much TikTok. I like to work here, but I don't like the art of it. That is lack of integrity due to institution. So you are not following your real artistic drive because you are fearful of stuff, and that is lack of integrity. So if you want to go back to your integrity and to your most potent art, fuck everyone. Fuck everyone. Just do it. Just do your art. Following your guns, following your gut, and see what happens. The next dimension of integrity is between you and God. This is a very profound one. When we are lacking integrity between you and God, man, your life is miserable, because we have God, and God is a very strange thing, like so infinite that we can define him as we want. So I define him sometimes as a teleological drive. A teleological drive is basically a drive from the future, from your future self to be something else, to incarnate your most best self right now, your actualized self. And when we are not following that God, when we are not following our drive, when we are not following our truth, we are miserable. We are just living a stupid, banal human life. And human life is all about operating in God mode. as I told you in our last episode yesterday. Was yesterday? No, the day before that. But I have an episode that is called How to Operate in God Mode. And basically, to operate in God mode is to operate in one with God, one with the source of all energy. And obviously, practices will differ. You may be a Muslim. Well, you will read the Quran. You will pray 5 times per day. You will practice. Oh man, I forget. This fasting that they do. Ramayan. I forgot. Ramayan. How it says that fasting that Muslim practice? I'm trying to look. Oh, Ramadan. That is how it is called. So it is abstinence from all food or drink from dawn to sunset. So it's like an intermittent fasting that they do for like I don't know, 40 days. I don't know. I am thinking about doing that. Um, not I don't know when, but I will do it. I just want to feel. I want to do that experiment because I think it's gonna be very valuable. I am already doing intermittent fasting and it's working like hell. But I don't know if Ramadan will be different. So I will see. But hey, if you're a Muslim, that is your practice. If you're a Christian, well, you will read the Bible, you will, confess if you're a Catholic, and you will do this and that. If you're a Buddhist, I don't know. The practices, they all work. This is the secret of all religion. They all work. They all work if they are according to your values and to your truth. So if you're following that, man, if you're connecting with God, well, at least you have integrity in that part. But hey, to have integrity with God doesn't mean that you will have integrity with your sexual life and with your thoughts and with your business. All right. And I skipped that one. Where is that? Oh, I skipped a couple of ones. Where is the business one? Anyways, so there's also an integrity between your essence and your work. This is the one, you know, your career and life purpose. An integrity between your essence and your work, your career, and your life purpose. And I have a course that is called Manifesting Your Life Purpose. If you are very interested in that, I think that this is one of the most important aspects of all personal development. If you connect with your life purpose, with your mission, with your deepest why, dude, you will be unstoppable. You will know exactly what you're doing and why you are doing, and you will go at it every day with discipline, because the energy will be there because you're connected with your most profound drive. So let's say if you know that you should be a mathematician and you are working at McDonald's, and you have been 15 years working at McDonald's without any other further step, there's nothing wrong, but without any other further step, well, you will lack integrity, because in your mind you want to be a famous mathematician that is constructing and building new formulas, new paradigms, new theory. And instead of doing that and finding a way to monetize that, maybe with YouTube videos, maybe with a podcast, maybe with books that you're writing, you are only flipping hamburgers every day and, thinking one day I will do it. One day I will quit my work, and one day I will go all in on my mathematics. That is lack of integrity right there. Lack of integrity. You will be miserable. A better option will be, hey, if you need to work at McDonald's, work it. And in every break, write the book. In every break, construct your theory. Like Albert Einstein, he didn't lack integrity when he was working in the patent divisions in his country. Do you know when he wrote the papers for the relativity theory, the one that he was very famous for? He was working in the patent industry. He was giving patents. Patents is, how do you say in English? Let me double check. Uh, because I know that in Spanish is patentes, pero in English sometimes it doesn't. It's not the same. So let me just double check. Yeah, patent. Hey Google, help me with this, my man. Oh no. Okay. Oh, okay. Patent. Sorry. Patent. So he was working with the patent company, and there he wrote the papers. So what he did is that he found a way to give the patents very quick, and now he have like a couple of hours of free for free in his work. And then he start writing the relativity theory there in his McDonald's work. Do you understand the metaphor, the analogy? So yeah, that is to become integrous with your work, and then he explode in fame. So remember, I don't care if you're working maybe in a place for now that is not with your most profound integrity, it is not aligned, but hey, do things in your day every day that keeps aligning, and someday you will be able to drive, out of your current job to your life purpose or to your most inner truth. Another dimension is your integrity between your soul, between your body and your mind. And this is one that is so important, man. And this is one that I'm finally dominating in my life, because I always tell you, I'm not perfect and I'm in the journey. So one of the dimensions of personal development that I have never been able to quite master once and for all is the fitness dimension. Like I'm always kind of in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Like I do some fitness work, training, like 1 month, 2 months, then I rest, or 1 month, or I skip 1 month, and it's like that. So I never kind of, build my body as I know that I can do it. But right now I feel that finally that is gone. Right now I feel I have been constant, like for 2 or 3 months, every day to the gym, every day to ascertain cardio, maybe basketball or sport, swimming, boxing. I'm training every day. I don't care, man. I don't care. I am training every day. Some days I rest, but almost every day. Right now, I'm going to play basketball after this podcast at 6 a.m. Right? So, and now I feel like awesome because I know that my body is reflecting my mind. But back in the day when I saw myself in the mirror, I was like, who are you, man? Because I am this great thing in my mind and my body is not reflecting that. What is going on? And it was that my body, it was not integrated with my mind. So ask yourself, who are you in your truth? And then ask yourself, it is my body reflecting that? Just look at yourself in the mirror. I have an episode, it's on Spanish, that is called Mírate al espejo desnudo todos los días. Look yourself in the mirror naked every day. And that is a technique that I use. I look myself naked every day in the mirror, and I said, okay, what things of my body I don't like? And I need to change them. So I may say, all right, so I am not liking my neck. That is an example. I love my neck. But anyways, I say, oh, I don't like in my neck. So I will say, okay, so how can I love this? So that is the first step, because you don't want to build with hate. You want to build with love. So I say, okay, I can love my neck because it's a beautiful neck, and it's supporting my head, it's joining my head and my body together, and it's sustaining my breath. So it's a very good thing, and I can massage. And then I ask the second question, how I can improve my neck. Now I love my neck exactly as it is. Now how can I improve it? Because I want to have a better neck, or a more integrated neck with my soul, right? And this is just an example. You can do this with your bicep, you can do it with your chest, you can do it with your booty. I don't care. It's your body, right? So then you say, okay, so if I want to improve my neck, I need to do this exercise and this other exercise and 3 days per week and blah, blah, blah. And then you say, all right, let's do that. And you do it. And that is integrity. You are integrating your mind and your body. Also, in this dimension, nutrition is a thing and your water consumption is a thing. So if you are not consuming enough water, are you integrated? Are you integrous? No, no, no. If you want to be healthy but you are eating chocolate every day, chocolate with caramel and with whipped cream and with other type of weird stuff, and you are yummy, 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 yummy. Hey, I love chocolate, man, I understand. But that is not it's integrous. That is not integrous, because you have a body goal and health goal, and you are eating candy every day. So it's like, yeah, you can eat candy, man, but the point is the balance, the harmony, the discipline. Now, the final 2 points that I will be discussing, or the final 2 dimensions, they are more conscious, and they require more consciousness from you. Like, they require that you already kind of work out the integrity of your body, the integrity of your mind, the integrity of your work and life purpose, the integrity of your sexuality, the integrity of maybe what other, the art, the art one, the relationships one. So once you have all of those kind of figured out, and remember, it's a process, so they will go, and you know it's a spiral. So you will retrogress, you will regress sometimes, and then you continue progressing. So but when you finally are kind of alienated in most of your areas, you can work in these two that are absolutely awesome. And hey, if you can get this right, you will achieve the greatest mastery of life in all of the levels. So we are out of our personal level now, and we are out of our social level now, and we are entering in a political sphere now. And politics is a very, very responsible dimension, because in politics, what you are doing is designing society. And in politics and government, what you are doing is to create the fates of millions of people through your actions. Maybe you are writing a letter, or maybe you are promoting certain political party, or maybe you are running yourself from a certain position. I don't care what type of political endeavor you engage, right? um it can be integrated or integrous, or it can be not integrated or disintegrous, right? It can be. So engage in political activities that makes you with a lot of integrity. So I have, for example, an episode that will help you with this type of integrity if you are more inclined and interested in this one. It is called Political Consciousness, how to raise your political consciousness, the Mastermind podcast, and also how to cultivate, or how to operate, it is, I think, how to operate your political power. So those episodes are fundamental to achieve political integrity. Because if you don't have consciousness, political consciousness, how you will be integrous? No, you will not be integrous. You will be just following the party that your parents used to follow. You will just follow what culture tells you to do, or you will only follow the money that is on politics. But when you are conscious politically, man, you understand really profoundly your political values. It is something in your core, in your character. And if you follow that with a linear, vertical behavior, then you will manifest political integrity, and you will be so much powerful with that integrity than your opponents or other political agents that are trying to corrupt your idea. So one thing is to develop that consciousness. Another thing is to develop the power to act in that consciousness. So that's why it's divided in 2 episodes. One is consciousness, one is power, and both are essential. So one thing is to have the right ideas and values politically, and the other thing is to act on them with a strategic mindset in a way that you can benefit the whole society, the whole social organism, and the whole political ecosystem, and finally the whole universe, because politics will spread in the multidisciplinary interrelationships, multiplanetary relationships that we're going to build when we conquer the cosmos in the next centuries. And the final, and this is the Oh my gosh, this is one of the most profound insights that I have, that I had in my life. When I understood this, it was not long ago, folks. I don't remember when it was, but I was so struck for so many days, and I'm still kind of, oh my God, trying to digest this truth that you may actualize in your life if you try, if you want, if you are interested in finding out if this is true or not. Um, and this one. It is the final dimension, or the integrity of all the dimensions. Is where you have integrity between your inner world and your outer world, a perfect alignment between your external reality and your internal reality. That is ultimate integrity. That is absolute integrity. We can call that also unus mundus actualization. You actualize your unus mundus, your only one world, as in alchemy it is referred. And I am writing a book about the unus mundus. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, because I think it's going to be my most powerful book, or most important book of all time. And I am writing more than 50 books at the same time. So it's a big deal if I'm saying that that's going to be the most important. So yeah, it may be. Um, but hey, this is the thing. You have a kind of a external life, right? That we all know that is interconnected infinitely with your internal life. We all know that. But if you are living a life that externally it is not quite manifesting your inner truth, you don't think that is part of your integrity. Why? Because you think, okay, I am integrous in my internal world, and that is what I can control, right? So I cannot control external reality. So if my external reality is not quite what I want, that is not my fault. I am not out of integrity by that, because it's the external reality and that is not in my control. So, okay, that is like the normal thought. And I used to thought that, I used to thought like that also. I used to think like that also. But I realized that that is a no. That is wrong. That is wrong. Yes, you cannot control everything, but you're creating your reality. You are influencing the manifestation. You are influencing how the atoms are arranging in your reality in a quantum space. We know that we create what we observe. Quantum physics 101. So whatever you are observing in your external reality, if that is out of line with your inner reality, you are missing some integrity. So when you finally match your external world to represent perfectly your internal world, and that is an utopia, maybe you will never reach it, but we can call that salvation, enlightenment, integrity, ultimate integrity, and infinite love, or just the actualization of truth and beauty, because it will be absolutely beautiful. It will be absolutely truth. It will be absolutely illuminated, enlightened. It will be spiritual in its essence. You spiritualize the world. In alchemy, they teach you that you need to spiritualize matter, a materialized spirit. When you can materialize spirit and spiritualize matter, you have this integrity of the whole unus mundus, the whole one thing, the whole wholeness, the universal wholeness, the universal union, the ultimate singularity, the perfect coherent system that encompasses every other subsystem, the perfect monad, the perfect Godhead, the perfect you, the ultimate integrity of your life. Oof. Hey, that is a breath of integrity. And hey, I forgot, but you will know how to follow your integrity if you follow what feels good. You know, you will feel your integrity in your body. It's a physiological thing. We can measure integrity. That's why when you lie, you get different heartbeats, because you are lacking integrity, and your body responds physiologically. So I felt that, man. I felt that. You will feel your integrity. Yeah, that is the ultimate one, man. aligning your external world, your external reality, your external manifestations with what you see inside, with what you value inside. It's a tough thing, huh? It's a tough thing. It's a tough metaphysical spiritual operation, huh? It's tough. Personal development is tough, man. Personal development is tough. One man that has been really successful in this integrity on his internal reality and external reality has been Elon Musk. His internal reality is a very technological one, have you noticed? I download the mind of Elon Musk, just search on my YouTube or Spotify Elon Musk Mastermind Podcast, and you will hear one of the best episodes downloading that mind. It's a fascinating and genius mind. And he's a very technological, and he lives in the space already in his mind. So he lives in the space, and he also live in a ecological sustainable world. So he created that as a business. So he created an ecosystem outside of him that is supporting his internal reality. So he's matching both. And now we have a SpaceX, and he's exploring the space, and he has how it is called Tesla, that is electric mobiles and electric automobiles, and they are contributing to a more green planet. And he have Solar City, I think is the name of the other business that he has about solar energy. So he's creating in his outside whatever he's viewing or feeling in the inside. That is the ultimate integrity. So hey, try to do that. Live to do that. Strive every day to do that, to align both realities as one, as they are one, back into wholeness, back into integrity. I told you, man, give me 1 hour and I will try to transform your life. This is the most transformative podcast in the world, and I will deliver on that. And we are just beginning. This is the episode 500, what? 34? 34, and we are just beginning. My integrity says this is a podcast forever. So I don't know. We are just beginning, man. And I'm trying to give everything for you to transform your life and to spiritualize your universe. So please give your comments in the section of commentaries and comments. Um, and just tell me if you kind of know another dimension of integrity that maybe I forgot. And you can add it. You can add it, and we can all learn from your thoughts and from your integrity. So, hey, please share your thoughts in the comment sections. I will be looking forward to read you and to interact with you. Also, share this with your people, share this with your social media. Uh, we are living in a world that we are lacking integrity as collective, also, so as a collective species. So if you are putting your grain of sand in this whole evolution and progress, hey, just sharing this in your Instagram, sharing this in your Facebook, in your TikTok, or whatever creative way you can find to spread the message and to recommend this episode, please do that. That help a lot. And also, let me tell you that I'm about to launch my first book. It is called Terapia con Derek and Therapy with Derek after when the translation on English is done. And this is going to be a book that will make you to go for your maximum integrity. So if you are ready to have a deep therapy, with this Dr. Derek Israel through a book that will make you to live an integrous life, grab your copy as soon as I launch very soon. Terapia con Derek, your life will never be the same. Also, this podcast is on Patreon. That means that you can basically support by donation this podcast that is transforming thousands of lives around the world for free. So if you want to contribute, you can start with only $5 per month. And with that donation, you help us to help other people. That is integrity, shared integrity. And at the end of the day, I'm always expecting you that expecting for you to come to derekisrael.com. There you can find all the courses that I recommended through this episode, the sexual mastery that I recommended a couple of times, also how to be a top content creator if you want to develop maybe a career that is something like what I'm doing right now, creating content, podcast, building an empire on social media. That is my course what is my course about, how to be a top content creator. I have the meditation course. That is the most powerful technique to develop integrity is meditation, and yoga, but they are the same basically. So I also have my course on life purpose, and I have my course on self love. So hey, check those. Check my course. Check my coaching service if you want coaching with me. My psychotherapy service very soon. Check it. My consulting service. Check it. All the books that I will be launching. Check it. All the projects in the future. Check it. And hey, man, I just wish you that you, for now on, live a life based only on your ultimate